Settled in, folks. Here we go. Dialed in here. Got the lighting, got the Mac Pods today. Got boys in the Mac Pods. Jesse Clayton doing that nice little piano back there. Hold on. Here we go. Let's get the earplugs in. There we go. All right. Am I clicked in? Is that working? The Mac Pods. That would be Jesse Clayton, my friend and keyboardist. Plays with me all the time. Great guy. That's her song, Dr. Epstein. I'm liking it as my theme song because you know how it is with music. Welcome, everybody, to 420 Live with Jeff Kravitz. I'm your host, Jeff Kravitz. Today would be the third week, middle of the week, Wednesday, show 3. Happy Passover to all my friends out there. I know I'm going to lose a lot of my people today because a lot of my people are getting ready to celebrate Passover. And, you know, Passover is a holiday about plagues. And it's interesting that we're in the middle of a plague and we're celebrating plagues and surviving plagues. So I'm hoping that, you know, we can get through this plague in one piece. Hold on, I'm just screwing with my audio here. But I was thinking about it today, and one of the things about Passover is that you open up the door and you let in Eliyahu, is a spirit that comes and visits every house and brings drinks the wine on every table. And as kids, this was a huge thing to watch Eliyahu come into the scene. You'd be like, all right, kids, keep an eye on the wine glass because it's going to go down. And everybody be staring at it, and your dad would shake the table, and you know, you'd be like, ooh. So I want you to be careful because Eliyahu, you don't know where he's been. He's been to someone else's house. He picked up the coronavirus, and he came into your house, and he brought the coronavirus, and now he put it on the wine glass. So don't open the door tonight for Eliyahu. Let's just assume he's in the room. So if you're all out there and you're celebrating, want to have a happy Passover. And I'll be breaking some matzah. We're going to hide the afikomen somewhere back there in my background. In my noisy background is an afikomen. Today, our guests, I'm a lucky guy. I have a lot of friends I've made over the years that are very talented people. And one person connects you to another. When I went to Red Rocks in 96 to shoot Phish for the band Phish I talk about all the time. When I went to go shoot Phish for Rolling Stone magazine, I told you about Brad. We had Brad Sands on the other day, and I told you about meeting Brad. And the day after I met Brad, I went to lunch with Chris Kuroda, and he was the lighting director. And the first time I saw Chris's work was in 1994 at the Wiltern Theater. It was my first Phish show, and it was in March, and I saw the light show, and it was a really simple show. It wasn't fancy. It was, but his timing and the way he hit it and the positioning of the lights and the colors. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to shoot. I don't know who this guy is, but I got to shoot this light show. So it was like, on the way out of the venue, I pulled up the little cards that they had when you walk out of a show saying where the band's going to play next. And I looked on there and I was like, oh, they're going to be at the Warfield Theater. Phish is going to play the Warfield Theater at the end of May. This is 94. I was like, they will never play the Warfield Theater again. I was like, I got to see this band at the Warfield. So I called John Paluska, who I met briefly backstage at the Wiltern. I met the whole band the first night, and he gave me a pass, and I went and shot the Warfield shows. And, you know, that was 94. And, you know, it was just, you know, it was hard at that time because the lenses, the thing, now I got the digital, you dial it in. And talk about a dialed-in show. I don't know if you guys caught the Baker's Dozen show last night that was on Live Phish, but Chris's work was so outstanding in the whole way he lights that venue. So I have him here. He's waiting to talk to you guys. So I want to introduce my good old friend, Christopher Kuroda, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, thanks for the lead-in. That was really nice. Appreciate that.
Well, we've had a lot of history over the years. So
yeah, we go way back, my friends, way back. You staying safe or what?
Yes, I'm LA, and fortunately, they're not testing anybody in LA, so the numbers look really low.
And your mayor is outstanding, by the way. The the things I'm sorry, your governor, pardon me, the
Yes.
things he's doing it's groundbreaking, and he's leading the way. Him and Cuomo both are taking this, by the horns and doing what really needs to be done, and did it early on, which I think was the key to everything. So kudos
Yeah.
to him. Sure.
I wasn't a real big fan. I don't think the people in New York were a big fan of Cuomo either, but most of us in LA were kind of over some of the social services and the homeless problem that's been expanding here. But watching him step up, and talking about how California is the largest economy in the world, and we're going to use our power to get what we need for our people. So
as you should. And look what it's doing. I mean, you're doing, as far as all these crazy numbers that are out there that we all read about in the news every day. Your numbers are looking really good compared to the population of your state. So
but they're not testing also, and a lot of results aren't back and stuff like that. So I don't think any numbers you can really go off. You're in Florida though, so how's everything there? Because your governor just shut the state.
Finally, he was doing a lot of things right, but there was a lot of things he wasn't doing right, and he finally sort of got on board and shut the state down and those kind of things. But before that, they left the power to the counties. So my county, I'm in Broward County, they shut down 3 weeks ago, longer. And so that lockdown's been happening for a long time. The statewide lockdown is kind of an interesting scenario because most of the population is in South Florida on the East Coast. All these middle counties in the middle of the state still only have 1 case, 2 cases in the entire county. But then the high population counties like Dade, where Miami is, and Broward, where I am, and then Tampa area, Jacksonville, that's where the concentrations are. And those counties got shut down by local mayors a while ago. So, it's a little of both.
Yeah.
And we're thankful,
So your last job, Oysterhead?
My last job was Oysterhead, and I was looking forward to a lot more Oysterhead, and I'm really glad we got to at least get our feet wet, because I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure the time will come when that comes back again, once the world becomes the new world. There's going to be more Oysterhead, and I really enjoyed it. But yes, I haven't done anything since then. We're working, the lighting department is working on Phish daily because there haven't been any announcements yet. We're assuming who knows what's going to come down the pike, but better to get caught without your pants down. So we're preparing as if we're going to be doing something. And as far as that goes, there's so many like smart, competent, professional people making the decisions in the Phish camps, whether it's Richard Glasgow, Patrick Jordan, Red Light Management, Jason Colton, people of that nature. They're incredibly smart, caring people who care about the fans, care about the bands, they just care, period. So whatever decisions they come to is going to be a long, well thought out, well discussed ordeal before they let the rest of us know what they're thinking. So
your management is chiming in saying Oysterhead was not your last job. It was the job, the next to last job.
Sorry. Yes, Patrick Jordan, Mexico. Yes, sorry. It's been so long ago, but yes, UMMM Mexico. That is correct.
I'm glad we had Mexico. It was really fun. They're great shows. The band is really playing at a level that is just. What do you think about? What do you think about the way you've been in that seat for a long time? You've seen a lot of Phish shows. How do you think? What's your opinion of the way the band's dialed in now?
Oh, every year is better and better and better. They're dialed in, I guess is the word. They're extremely dialed in. They're playing better than I've ever seen them play, as a unit, as a whole. There's everyone breaks these down into 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. I personally just see it as a constant progression. And it's probably, what's the analogy, like a fine wine. They're just getting better and better and better with age. And they're, back in the day, we were all kind of children, and now they're mature, grown adult musicians who really know what they want to do, how they want to do it. They have so much experience and so much wisdom as to how to be Phish that that to me that shows every single day. So
Yeah, I've been blown away. I thought Mexico was some of the best playing. I keep going back and listening to those shows. They were just so great. I mean, they're so adventurous. They're just taking it out there. It's very reminiscent, I think, of the late '90s in a lot of ways. It's which was to me some of the peak playing. But your light show has gotten so freaking complicated. And I don't know, where does it go from now? Do you actually have to blast off the whole band into space or something? Because I don't know, where do you go because your light show moves.
We have ideas. Phish, not only musically, but management involvement, lighting, production, music, everything. The idea is to constantly evolve and constantly move forward into new uncharted territories. So we're constantly brainstorming all those entities I just mentioned about where to go, where to take it, what new ideas work, what don't. The last thing we want to do is take a step backwards. So we're constantly evolving and brainstorming ideas. And it's a group effort. It really is. Like I sit there and I push the buttons and I am the lighting designer and all those kind of things. But the team of people that are involved in whether it's putting it together or coming up with ideas or approving ideas, that starts with myself, Andrew Giffen, management, the band, everyone. Again, like I said, there's just a lot of smart people, smart creative people with smart creative ideas, and we all work together to come up with these ideas to take to complement this band the best that we can. So
yeah, this shot here where you just bring the lights down right on top of the band is just a moment in every show kind of, but it's just always you're just like, wow, it's like the landing of a spaceship. It's incredible.
Yeah, I can tell you, years before you even saw that, the concept of that even happening in the first place all began with a conversation of what can we do that nobody's ever seen before. And I'm just going to refer to like Chili Peppers and stuff like that. They were moving a bunch of objects around, but they were little balls and they didn't weigh very much. And they were doing little like waves and stuff over the audience with their 1,000 little balls. And we saw that idea, and other bands are doing that too. And we said, why stop there? Instead of moving little things around, let's move 2-ton objects around as if they were little balls and see where it goes from there. And there's just so much science behind what you're seeing. I don't know if you're aware, but no matter where those trusses go, the lights stay on the band. And that's some magic that would take me an hour to describe.
Watching them rotate on the axis and then the beams stay, but the whole thing, it's just incredible. And the shapes you get. I was watching with the kids. I'm just, look at this stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. You're limited by your imagination, I guess. But we're all looking forward to what you're going to bring next. So
when we started doing that, we didn't realize that was going to be something we needed to figure out. And it took months and months to figure out how to do that, how to keep the light on the band. We can also take it off the band, but most of the time we want to keep it on the band. So that became a science project that we didn't expect. And I don't know if anybody knows who Andrew Giffen is.
I do.
He's my associate designer, and you know who he is.
Yes.
He buried his head into that science for months and tried thousands of different ways and iterations to try to make it work. And just like Albert Einstein, or not Albert, who invented the light bulb? See, I don't even know.
Yeah, Thomas Edison.
Just like with the light bulb.
Well, they're saying Tesla, but Edison took it, right? Isn't that?
But Edison had 1,000 failures before the light bulb worked. And we sort of went through that process for a long time. So.
Well, you used to live up in Burlington where the band was, and now you're down in FLA, down there in Florida, and you picked up a new hobby.
My new hobby is fishing. It's an old hobby that I was able to take to the next level by moving down here. Now I live in a place, I live on a canal with a boat in my backyard, and I can just get on it and go anytime I want with friends. And, through my love of fishing, I've made some incredible fishing friends that we started out having fishing in common and have just become friends that go way beyond that topic. So
Why don't you intro our next guest?
I would love to intro our next guest. Our next guest is probably one of the best fishermen I've ever met, but aside from that, he's one of the just most genuine, awesome human beings on this planet. And his name is TJ Ott, and you can see him on Wicked Tuna.
And here he is. Hello, TJ. Yeah, there
Square
you go. Yes, no, a little bit over to the other way. Right there. Perfect.
I don't know. That was a pretty nice intro. I don't know if I could top that. So I feel. am I in here?
TJ, tell us the first time you saw Chris. Was it in person or was it through his work?
Can you see me?
Yes.
It was through work. Well, no, it was in person. Obviously, going to Phish years ago.
But I meant you didn't know him face to face. You knew his lighting.
No, not at all. I mean, I knew who he was from going to shows back in the day, but
what was your first show? Because you're a New England guy, right?
My first show. So I hated on Phish for many years because I had like hardcore uncles that were deadheads, and I was a deadhead kid, so I was like, oh, I don't like this band, But I'd never gone. So my first show, which is like crazy, what it turned into was the original Island tour, Nassau Coliseum in '98. And then I went, I was like, holy smokes, like maybe I should go to more of these. I wasn't, I didn't get it, but once I got it, it was kind of game on,
But you already had seen the Dead before that, and Jerry had been dead 3 years.
I was going to see Jerry the year he passed away with my uncle, and I didn't get to go see him.
Oh, so you missed it.
I missed it, yeah. And my uncle actually passed away a couple of years later, and I was going to see Jerry, and I think I was going that tour right before after he died.
Right, 95. Oh, and yeah. Chris, when do you remember meeting TJ for the first time?
A good friend of both of ours, Jason Weinstock, who's a red light manager. He knew I was a big fan of the show, and he knew I loved to fish, and he was friends with TJ, and he literally walked up to me. He called me up the day before a Fenway show and said, "Hey, you want to go fishing on the hot tuna in a couple days?" And I literally was like, "Shut the front door, man. Come on."
I know.
And he was like, "No, really. Like, do you want to go?" And I was like,
and that turned into like a crazy story. Like, so I hadn't been to Phish in a long time. So Jason's like, "Come on, let's go out." So me and Marissa ended up going, and it was the night of the rain, like where Fenway just got like drenched in rain. So we went to the show and we had fun, and then we ended up leaving. Like, what time did you get to the boat? 3 a.m.
2:30 a.m. Literally,
right? 2:30. I mean, he didn't even sleep. We steam out, and it was rough as shit. Like it was not a comfortable ride out. I mean, it was like you knew it was rough in the dark, and then like once you got there and the sun came up, you're like, holy shit, it's rough as shit.
How far is that boat ride?
We were
about
13 miles from Gloucester. We were around the northeast corner of Stellwagen Bank, and again, it was like so rough. And we hook up, and it's like a 500-pound thresher shark, which is, if you don't know what a thresher shark is, it's a pelagic shark with like a tail as long as its body. And they jump. So the thing starts jumping out of the water. And I'm like pissed off at the time because I don't want to catch it. Meanwhile, Chris is like, holy shit.
And TJ hands me the rod and goes, "You want to fight him?" I was like, yeah. Sure. Fought him for like a minute, and then he broke off because he was a 500-pound shark. But anyway.
What was it? So like an hour later, maybe we hooked the tuna?
Yeah, something like an hour later. Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the first time Chris and I go fishing, it's like the biggest heartbreaking loss of like in all my tunas. Like there's like one other one that compares to it, but this one was like devastation. Like,
how many hours did you fight it?
A long time.
But
did you do it all yourself, Chris, or you guys switched off, or what?
Oh no, I was switching around. His first mate Jarrett, who's also an amazing guy. We were trading back and forth, and TJ was driving the boat, and like he said, it was rough. So you have to kind of, before it takes too much line, you have to try to back down on the fish. So TJ's backing the boat down, and because the waves are so big, we're just getting drenched. Every time the back of the boat hits a wave, it's just like,
I know.
and we're, and I'm standing there taking it, and TJ's looking at me and he's going, dude, I got to tell you, is like, I didn't expect you to like be the kind of guy who'd stand there and
Jason,
take it.
Jason Weinstock was there too.
Yeah, here, Jason,
Weinstock
he's right here. Jason's chiming in, and he made it. And then also Brian Raskin is. What about me?
Say, and Jason's friend.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they were those. We were all together, and
it was
just one of those. Go ahead, TJ. You got to tell it. So.
Oh man, I love to tell it, but it's just such a heartbreaking. And Garrett and Marissa was there too. So I mean, I don't know if anyone's familiar with bluefin fishing, but when we get them close to the boat, we harpoon them. So we got him up and we darted him, and he was a big fish. He was like 700 pounds, let's say.
Wow.
Yeah. Huge.
And then we get him up, and we just didn't get a gaff in him.
And then the line snapped.
The line snapped, and then we fought him on the dart line for like another 45 minutes to an hour, and we ended up pulling the dart out of him.
Oh, he would have come in.
Hours and hours of just like,
had him right next to the boat several times, but just not close enough to like grab his tail, pulling on the dart line, and in the end we pulled the dart out.
That was nice blue balls there, bluefin balls.
Oh, dude, it was.
So then, we stayed out there for a few more hours. First of all, we were all crying, but then we stayed out there for a few more hours hoping to get another bite, but the vibe was gone. We just all sat there in silence, like no one could get over it.
No.
Finally, TJ looked at us and was like, "What? We're out of here."
No,
opportunities like
that. Yeah, opportunities like that. Like, and not to mention, in all my years of tuna fishing, I'd never lost one like that. I'd heard stories of guys losing them like that, and I was like, "Oh, they're idiots." Yeah,
stupid. Good thing the cameras weren't rolling. You guys would all be crying. But I saw a picture of you guys with a nice sized tuna.
Yeah, TJ just, he's the kind of guy, he just felt bad for me. He really wanted me to catch a fish. He called me up like 3 weeks later and went, "Look, dude, there's a mini season. It's only like a few days long. I'd love to take you again. Get on a plane if you want, and I'll take you again." So I couldn't pass up that opportunity. So I got on a plane, flew to Gloucester, grabbed a hotel room. We went out. We actually hung out for like a week. We fished a bunch of days. We had a lot of nice meals. He showed us all around Gloucester one rainy day. Took me to his house. I met his whole family. They're all super amazing, nice people. All bluefin fishermen in some way or another. And we just had a great week. But one of the days we went out, we finally got one. Legit got one. So
yeah, and we left the dock. We had a couple of days of terrible weather, so we left the dock kind of late that day. And it's like, as a fisherman, anytime you leave the dock late, you're like, this isn't, you feel like you're out of it before you even get there. And we anchored up and there's a lot of boats there fishing, and we caught one pretty quick in the middle of a lot of boats that didn't catch fish that day. We caught,
Yeah, within an hour. And usually you can fight those things for like 4 hours, even longer. We got that sucker in like an hour 15, done.
And Chris and his friend Ben, they reeled it in the whole thing by themselves.
I saw the pictures. Kuroda, you would have thought he had another baby, the way he was showing that picture off.
It was bigger than me. I mean, and that was for someone like me. That's just it's a dream. I've wanted to catch one of those my entire life. And I got thank God I have friends who gave me an opportunity to come hang out with them and give it a shot, and we got one. It was literally a bucket list moment. So
yeah, those fish too. Those fish, I've caught them for so many years. I've been blessed to do it. But for people that are fishermen that have never caught a fish like that, like there's no way to describe it. Like when it comes through the door and you see it, even with the TV show, you think it looks big. You have no idea how big they are.
Right.
I mean, and everything about them, they're so aerodynamic, and they're just, over time, the design of them, they're just like, they are, the baddest fish in the ocean. There's nothing like them. I mean, and they taste really good too.
They're delicious.
We want to eat them.
Toro.
Tell them about the fish you caught last week.
Last week
he caught like a real bucket list fish last week.
I caught my very first blue marlin ever. Also,
really?
fish. Yeah, random on my little 30-foot boat with little tackle because we're fishing for mahi and wahoo and little tunas, little blackfin tunas. You know, it's the mainstay of what's around here in our waters. And there's a lot of sailfish. Fort Lauderdale's really big on the sailfish population, but they're like, 30 to 60 pound creatures. And yeah, all of a sudden we were trolling and one of the lines went off, and I was with a good buddy of mine, Keith, and he goes, "Oh, it's a big dolphin! It's a big dolphin!" And then we saw it kind of breach the water a little bit, and saw the color, and I went, "That's not a dolphin! It's a sailfish! It's a sailfish!" And then it jumped like 15 feet out of the water, like 6 times, and both of us at the same exact time went, "Holy fuck! It's a marlin!" The thing was huge, and we never thought we would ever be able to get it in and land it. You don't kill those because you just don't. They're catch and release. But if you touch the leader of the line, it's officially a catch. They're just so aggressive and so strong and so crazy that we never thought we would be able to do that. But we gave it a shot. He spooled us like 4 times, so you can see like 3 wraps left on the spool before there's no more line on it. And my buddy was reeling, and I was gunning the boat, chasing the fish to try to get line back. And that happened about 4 times. And somehow we just sort of followed him real slowly with the boat and kept getting line. And towards the end, he jumped a bunch of times near the boat. And we actually tired this big giant fish out and touched the leader. And it was an official catch. And then took a few pictures and then released them, because that's what we're all about. We're not going to, you're going to eat a tuna. You're not going to eat a marlin.
No, marlins go on the wall, though, back in the day. How big was it?
Yeah. We could have done that, but we just weren't.
Of course not. Now everybody's socially conscious. So
I'll be honest with you. We thought about it. I mean, socially conscious or not, we thought about it. But then we went, no, we got to let this guy go.
I got to tell you, Kravitz, like that fish that he caught off Florida, like that's like a huge deal. Like there's guys that fish in Florida. I'm in Key West right now. I fish up Key West. I've never hooked a marlin here. I've caught one. I mean, so that's like, yeah, we can catch bluefin tuna all summer, but to catch a blue marlin off Fort Lauderdale, just randomly trolling, it's a pretty big deal. Like that's just some thing that most people do in their lives. Like during quarantine, lockdown, like trying to go catch food to eat dinner, and go out and catch like a giant marlin. I mean, it was probably 500 pounds.
It was estimated
huge.
Pounds. Yeah, it was about 13, 14 feet long. I only know that because I know how long my boat is. And up next to the boat, I know how long he was up against the boat. So, yeah, put him about 13, 14 feet long, something like that.
Wow.
When are you coming, Kravitz? We got to get you out there.
I'm ready. So as soon as they let me out of the house, my wife will not let me out. I'm lucky to be able to come to the office to do the show. And it's my only Saturday, but it's like every time you go out, it's like, wear gloves, put your mask on. Yeah. I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah, well, crazy. It's the same thing, man. I mean, we're doing the same thing here. It's like, you got to do it.
You got to stay safe. Are you going out on the boat now, TJ? Are you going to fishing or anything? Or no?
So my boat here is at a yacht club, and so it has to be launched in the water. So I have to call them, and I don't really have to interact with people, but I kind of do. So I want to go out in the worst way. Like every day, I'm like, I want to go out, but unlike Chris, where his boat's is in his yard, which is like amazing. He can just put his boat in the water and go fishing. I have to go through steps where I have to interact with people.
Right.
And, I can go there and wipe down the steering wheel and be safe and all that. But for the moment, I'm like, man, I'm not doing it. And some people call me crazy. My dad busts my balls every day about it. He's like, you're being a baby. But I think, if I could sacrifice a couple weeks of not getting to do something I want to do for the greater good, then that's what I got to do,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I would love to go on my boat tomorrow and go out. My buddy went out to the Gulf of Mexico thing, killed the tunas, cobias. But at the same time, he was on the boat with 4 of his friends that he doesn't even know where those guys have been,
Right.
So it's like, for me, I'm not messing with it. I just came from the Outer Banks, and we caught a ton of bluefins there. I get to go fishing a lot all the time. I can suck it up for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, well, it's different when your job. Someone was like, so one of the questions aside, just scrolling the questions to see what people were asking me about you guys. One of the questions was, does Chris have a mini light set up at home? But it's all computerized, right?
It's all computerized, but I have a 3D visualizer that I can make light shows on my TV set, which that's in many ways that we pre-program Phish using the visualizer software before we actually get to program with the real lights. So I have that, and I play with it because I'm bored like everybody else. But
well, you can dial it in. So Gabe Miller wants to talk about your ability to use the house lights at the Garden, because maybe a lot of people that haven't seen Phish at the Garden don't know, but you designed. You could tell everybody how this came about.
Well, so I'll keep it short, but long story short, I wound up getting hired to be the lighting designer for the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers and all their in-game lighting, cheerleader moments. A lighting cue for when the Rangers score a goal. We need a lighting cue, or you're using their in-house system, or lighting cue for when there's a power play, or a lighting cue when the Knicks come out of a timeout and are walking back out on the court. So I got hired to do that stuff, which gave me the unique access of two things: the unique access of having access to the house rig and knowing it well enough to be able to patch it in to our rig and be able to use it for our shows. I mean, that's the very short answer, and that's how that works. So again, we plan for that when we go play there, and we program a bunch of stuff before we even get there specifically for that rig, and we tie it into our rig. So the simplest layman's thing would be, when I make the Phish rig red, the Madison Square Garden rig turns red with it.
But do you have to lay that out on your computer as a separate show completely because of the way those lights are? Because a lot of times you're bringing them in on a circle in the middle, and you're doing all this cool stuff. So it has to be programmed.
Yeah,
right?
we do, and it's the beauty of a 4-night run for New Year's or a 13-show run for Baker's Dozen is. Every afternoon when we're bored before they're opening the doors, we can write some new stuff right there on the fly and go, let's do this time.
And your sister Andy just found it very funny that her brother's a lighting director and forgot who invented the light bulb. So.
Yeah. I know, Andy. Thank you.
And she also keen enough to pick up on the fact that both you guys have a common thread. It's fishing and fishing.
Yeah. Well, I probably said Sigmund Freud because that's who I need right now just to stay sane.
We all do.
But I just wanted to tell you real quick that one of the reasons I was really excited to do this with TJ is for weeks now, we talk to each other on the phone like 3 or 4 times a day, every day. He's sort of been my comrade in arms and my, my brother from another mother, keeping me sane. We talk to each other every day and try to keep each other
likewise
through this, and more than anybody else.
Right now.
Are you guys on? Are you on the house party? Not to give away. Have you done the house party?
We just talk on the phone, but
all the crews on the house party, which is a lot of fun. I was on one last night. You could play trivia and shit with people.
Someone sent me that.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's actually fun to get together. We can get together with a group and lock it in. So
it's just, I'm sure Kravitz, I'm sure you're going to do the same thing. You need people to kind of keep your sanity and just get.
Well, that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm really glad you guys came on today to talk to me, because I've been keeping everybody distracted now since March 16th on the daily, and Chris, I hit him up early on. TJ's one of the first people I hit up to do this, and then Chris hit me up this week. Was like, we'll do it together, and I'm like, great.
We talked about that.
It's actually great because everybody that needs to know.
Kravitz is hitting me up about this. So I went, yeah, he's hitting me up.
And it's perfect because everybody can read about Chris Kuroda. There's thousands of hours of interviews about you throughout your career out there in the world. So if anybody needs to find out the details and minutiae about what Kuroda is about, but I went through and I found a couple pictures, Chris, and this one. Do you have this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Do you have that? That's your daughter, right? Or is it hard to tell?
I don't know.
That one, and let me see. I found a couple other ones. This one back here. This rig was
she'll come say hello if you want her to.
Sure, absolutely. Was this the Darth Vader rig in the background there? This would be Gorge.
A little weird. Is that you?
That's you. That's you holding the bag. And that's your old rig in the background, old Gorge.
Hi,
that would
Ripple.
be.
How are you, Ripple? Hi, Ripple.
03 maybe?
Hi,
I don't
Ripple.
know.
Hi, Ripple.
Where's you want to bring your daughter in to say hi? Kuroda, I think I'm losing Chris. He's looking frozen.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
didn't really respond.
All right, I'm gonna drop him out.
There we go.
Oh, there he is. There you go.
I don't know what's going on, but
All right. Well, Chris, I'm going to cut you loose. I know you got to go. I appreciate you coming on. We'd love to have another chance to talk to you. I'm sure everybody wants to ask you questions, but I appreciate you taking time out of your quarantine to come on and say hi to everybody out there. And everybody's like, my comments are all like, I love Chris. So we all love you. And
I love everybody back, believe me. And thanks for doing this. And, if I just had a message for everybody, it's just stay positive. I mean, this is a time to stay positive. And like TJ was saying, he's like, he'd love to be out catching tunas, but this isn't the time to do that as much as you want to. It's the time to stay home and reflect and stay positive and take time for yourself. And the tunas will always be there. And he and I both know that. And I just hope, all our friends and all our fish friends and everybody, we need you all to stay healthy, and we need you with us. And that's my parting message to everybody.
yeah, and everybody that's watching the at-home broadcasts of Phish should definitely hit that donate for the water wheel button up there. And I know the water wheel is really raising a lot of funds for a lot of good people that need the cash right now. And they were nice enough to let us see those shows. Spectacular job last night, Kuroda. Do you watch yourself? Do you watch your old show, the lighting?
I watch for a little while, and it's fun, and I would watch for a lot longer. But in the spirit of what I just said, we're trying to, have a little more family time. My daughter's 16, and she's the quarantine does not agree with her,
No.
So we are just trying to, gather as a family and do productive things together. That we all enjoy as a team. So
that's great. Well, is there any causes you want to talk about? Maybe Crew Nation or that's the Live Nation wing that's raising money for all the crew guys that are out of work and stuff. Give them a shout out into the water wheel. Does that sound right? All right. I think Chris he's gone. I'm going to take him out of the screen and talk to TJ for a minute. Thanks, Kuroda. I will. We'll be talking soon. Chris, he's out. TJ, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm quarantined, Key West with my 3 dogs. 2.5 dogs, actually.
Two what? You guess I got the puppy, huh?
The puppy's getting big, man, and that's another thing. The puppy's at a stage where it kills me because I wanna socialize her and take her to dog parks, but I just won't do it,
Yeah.
It's just.
There's Chris. Hey, Chris, we could say goodbye.
Let's do an official goodbye. Thank you for having me on, and just
Later,
be
buddy.
safe, y'all.
Thank you all.
All right, Tej.
See you soon.
Be safe, man.
right.
Later.
All right, bye.
So you're in a full line of fishermen. How many generations is your family of fishermen?
My grandfathers and my father. and I was always surrounded by fishermen, but lately it's crazy what the shows became. In so many countries, and it's insane. I mean, it's crazy. It's just
because it's not exactly a sexy, glamorous thing waiting out for bluefin and then trying to reel them in for 4 hours.
No, but I mean, it's as a fisherman, if you enjoy fishing, it's something that you want to do because it's the mountaintop.
Right.
It's like there's no, that you can target marlin and swordfish, but those big bluefins, there's nothing like them. I mean,
but your boat, you have 3 guys on the boat, right? That are your crew. Be you and 2 other guys usually.
Yeah, my brother was kind of taken out. He had knee surgery, so he couldn't fish. So this summer it was my father and Jarrett, and normally it's just me and 2 guys. Yeah, For sure.
And then you have
Dogs.
the camera guys too, right?
We only have one camera guy. That's always, people are always amazed at that. So they're always like, man, you know, how many people are on there? I'm like, it's just one camera guy, and he runs all the deck cams, all the cap cams inside, and he runs all the audio.
Right. So he has little cameras set all over
Everywhere.
the place.
Yeah. And then he's got his 8 camera, his big cameras, and he's got his, you know, specialty cameras, his underwater cameras. And, but, you know, the thing is, like, the minute we leave the dock until the minute we return, we're mic'd up.
Right.
And, you know, like, you can't take that mic. If there's lines out, if you're fishing, you're mic'd up. So you're mic'd up while you're sleeping. You know, you're mic'd up all the time.
Right. Because you never know when something's going to strike and you got to go.
Well, that's the thing, you know, and if they miss it, you know, they learned early. They've got it so dialed in now as to how it has to be done that it's just like a really well-oiled machine. It's crazy. And those camera guys, I mean, they earn every penny. I mean, that's just one guy, and he's got a lot of shit to do.
And you were on from the initial season, right?
No, I came in. So we just filmed season 9. I came in season 3, and then we do the one in the Outer Banks, you know, the Southern show, and I've been on that one since the beginning, and we just wrapped up another season of that, and we finished filming on March 13th, and I drove in my car. I got back to Key West. I stopped in Jacksonville. I was going to have dinner at Derek and Susan's, and Derek had just done the thing at the MSG, and he's like, bro, we're quarantined. I'm like, man, what are you talking? And it was just kind of coming around. So I went to this restaurant in Jacksonville that, you know, we would go to, and it was elbow to elbow packed, like 30 people waiting to get in. And I messaged Derek. I'm like, bro, there's 30 people online. He's like, yeah, Jacksonville doesn't give a shit. He's like, so, but then I started to take it seriously. I'm like, man, this is a real deal thing. And by the time I got back to Key West the next day, they were announcing the lockdown. So I've been back home, you know, since March 15th. And I mean, I get my groceries delivered. I don't even go out to get them. You know, so I mean, I go out, go for a bike ride, walk the dogs, but other than that, I'm really just laying low, man.
You're laying low. So how many seasons did you win at all? Have you?
I don't know. You're gonna have to watch. I'm with your buddy. I watched the one you did with Copeland, and he's like, "This stuff's in the air, man. I ain't leaving my house." And I have like that mentality. I'm like, this shit's probably in the air, like.
Well, they say it's aerosol. The problem, I think, ultimately, is they don't know what the hell it is. But all I know is it's getting in the way of my good time. Do you remember good times? Do you remember going out?
Well, that's the thing. Like, and I think that's what the shock to people more than anything is, like, you've taken away their routines. So, like, 2 nights ago, I left my house. I live right downtown Key West, so the water and the boardwalk is like 200 yards from my house. So I've been walking my dogs down to the boardwalk where they like to go. And a guy comes around the corner. I'm about 100 feet from him, and he coughs. He goes, I turn around and walk right home. You know, man. But it's funny because Key West is like, people are taking it serious, but it's still business as usual. Like, everyone's out biking, and you know, they're not. No,
but are the bars open and stuff?
No, they shut those down. Like, I got home on the 15th, and I think that Wednesday following, they closed everything. And if you know Key West, it's built on tourism. It's built, you know, there's so many people that live here that depend on going to a bar, going to a restaurant. I mean, there's still like 25 restaurants open doing takeout, and I feel bad I'm not supporting them. Like, there's this little organic market I go to every morning. They're still open, but I just don't feel comfortable going in there, man. Like, you know, having to
how many cases are down there?
So we had our 3rd death today, and that's in Monroe County. That's just not Key West. So, Monroe County is all the Keys.
Right.
So from Key West all the way up to Key Largo. And I think we had 53 cases, and we had our 3rd death today. It was a 73-year-old man from Key West. And the 2 prior deaths were guys in their 50s with underlying health. So, I mean, we're not – it's not New York City.
No.
You know? I mean, the crazy thing is, like, you look at California where you're at, and, like, you guys have got it. I mean, I'm not going to say you have it under control, but you got your shit way more dialed in.
Well, it's dialed in, but they're not testing everybody. They stopped testing people a long time ago. So I don't know what's going on, but you know what? All I know is there's idiots running the asylum. The inmates are running the asylum.
I know.
It's craziness. I don't trust anybody. Anything that I see on the news, I don't trust. I don't believe anything.
Well,
and I'd rather.
I'm not going to get political, but I'm glad to hear you say you don't trust anyone or anything right now, because I don't either. Whether they're good, bad, or whatever they are, I don't trust anything. You know, it's like it's almost like I don't even want to watch it.
No, I tell you what. I watch the news. I try to watch maybe once a day for maybe 40 minutes. I watch like the nightly news. I cried 4 times last night. Yeah. It's sad. So, it's sad. I'm trying not to do it. And, I started watching like Narcos Mexico.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've been down that.
I'm just doing.
What am I watching? What did I watch? I finished Ozarks in like a day. Well, that's season 3. And
in one day?
Season 3, yeah. I think it was 2 days. 2 days. But
and Tiger King, of course.
Tiger King was just outrageous. Like, I mean, what was that? I mean, that shit exists, and there's people out there in our world like that. Like,
well, if you could train Tuna and put him in a cage,
dude. I mean, I'd be hard. You'd have a hard time getting me to walk in one of those cages with 40 tigers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how they're trained. I don't care whose tigers they are. Like,
I don't really get the show.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, thank you.
Hey,
thank
man,
you for coming on.
Stay safe, man.
This was painless, right? It went really fast. Before you know, we're already 40 minutes in. So
perfect, bro.
Thanks. I appreciate you too, and we'll talk. We'll talk to you again. And Weinstock chirped in. We all need the fish down there when this is cleared up. I got nothing else to do, really.
I check in with Jason every day too. I mean, Jason's right. He's right in New York, so he's in the heart of a bed, and I'm making an effort to at least try and check in with Jason every day for sure, man.
Well, there's a couple names that come up every day. There's a couple of names that come up on the show, and Jason Weinstock, Les Claypool, Dan Camp. These are the names that keep coming up, So these are my people.
All cleared up, we'll get on the boat. We'll go catch some fish, and we'll have a good time, bro.
Sounds great.
Better days are coming, man. Just stay safe. Everyone stay safe.
Say hi to the pups. We'll talk to you soon.
Take them for a walk right now. All right, Kravitz.
All right, see you later, TJ. There you go, TJ Ott from the Hot Tuna, Wicked Tuna. And Chris Kuroda, the fish and the fishing, that was a really great 1-2 punch today. We covered it all. We covered a little fish, a little fishing, happy Passover. I don't know if you heard what I said earlier. Do not let Eliyahu in the house. Keep the door shut. Assume he's in there already. Don't drink the wine after he's been in there. Happy Passover to everybody out there. I'm going to go sign off and try not to eat anything leavened and try to sign in onto the East Coast Seders that they got going on. I got invited to a couple Seders today. But I want everybody to stay healthy, continue. I want to thank my guests today, Chris Kuroda, TJ Ott, old friends, new friends. I met TJ in 2015 at the Grateful Dead, GD50 again through Jason Weinstock. And, we become friends. We were in Providence. I'm wearing my Providence shirt today. We were in Providence at the Phish show, hanging out, went up to Kuroda's afterwards and said hi to him and Rhea and a bunch of friends up there. It was really great to hang, and I really miss seeing music and being with my friends. And, I miss you all out there. I can't wait to see you all again. Tomorrow, our guests, we're going to stay on the animal thing. I told you it was animals. We got Phish today. We were talking to Rose earlier this week. Dan Canner's an animal. We were talking to him. And we were talking to, we're going to talk to Dan Matthews. Dan Matthews runs PETA, P-E-T-A, not P-I-T-A. There will be no falafels. Although Dan does eat falafels, no kebabs for Dan. And we're going to talk to Dan. Dan is full of great stories and stuff. I'm going to scroll through here because everybody was chirping in. I miss you too, Jason Weinstock. Thank you, Bobby English. Steph, thank you. Shoutdown, yes. The future of entertainment is here for you guys. Thank you, Melanie. Happy Pesach, Dave, to Mike Rosick, to Jared. Oh, I'm the new Mark Maron. I'm going to have to grow a beard. Todd checking in. Oh, good, Matt. You squoze in there at the end. And if you missed anything, everything's on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Jared. Liggy, that was good, huh? Phish. The Phish. Donna, Matt, all the Passover. I love it. Jamie checking in. Love you guys. Happy holiday. It was good to see you and Mom on the today on the FaceTime. I talked to my mom. Thank you, Clayton. It was good. Danny, we're gonna have to ask him about the upcoming season. He's not going anywhere. And you can find that the name of TJ's puppy out on his Instagram at TJ Ott on the Insta. Very positive vibe. We are keeping it light today. We did get a little serious because, everybody's dealing with this. It's affecting everybody. It doesn't roll off. I make it look easy. I make it look like it doesn't affect me. But, this gets in. People want to know. And, yeah, we had some long stares. We have the internet thing. We lost him, but we found him. And then we lost him. Jamie is a big hot tuna fan. So maybe we all need to go down to Key West, Jamie, when this is over and go fishing. Because I had said I want to go tuna fish with TJ. And he's like, you do not want to go tuna fishing for me. So it's much better to come out. You're sharing the coronavirus. Thank you, Michael. I don't know if anybody's been over to the house to meet the cats. I don't know, Jack, because the forum doesn't have those lights like the garden does for the sports. That's going to change very soon. So I'm influenced by him. Chris is gone. So Eddie Mayer checking in. Yes. The Chris. All right, guys. Yeah. We missed it, Ike. I missed it. It was hard to go through the comments and have a three-way conversation. So anyway, everybody out there, stay safe. I love you all. Happy Pesach Day 2. Here's your hug coming in. I forgot that yesterday, and I got shit from my photographer for forgetting it. Zoran, who always shares the pictures with me. Tomorrow again, looking for Dan Matthews. We'll see you tomorrow, 4:10. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you soon, everybody. Have a great day.